Guys, can we talk about something real quick? Look at my home screen. Look at this little traitor who's been sitting on my home screen for like 6 months. Anyway. Hello again. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney. We're defending racist Miles Edgeworth against off-brand karma. Or whatever. Are they related? I don't know. I'm upset and I feel betrayed. That's why I needed to show you that real quick. But it's fine. It'll all be fine. This is gonna be great. Guys, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready. I'm gonna put my gamer gloves on. I need to lock in here. Hey, if you missed this case and the things it has done to me, I don't know what to tell ya. It's only been one video, so you should just catch up and then come back. There's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. This almost feels like a third game. I don't know. Actually, no. It's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. You don't say! There's a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose. Yes, I think so. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please. You want more courtesy from me? From me? Okay, whatever. Oh my, I do apologize. However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? I'm not privy to the details, however. I understand that no jury has been selected? No jury? A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago. A closed court. Good morning, my dear fellows! Mr. Sholmes. Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruto? An outright victory for science, you must agree. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Huh! What to one man is a little hair problem is to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning. Oh dear, how awful for you. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And you, I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. Oh boy. It's gotta be like the two most awkward people of all time. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor. And that would be? Your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes. After all, behind this lawyer there's a very great mind. My own. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in. Gina! What's that on her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose. Father, shouldn't you be at the symposium? It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. I shall be very interested to see your fruits from your studies over the past year. What studying? All I've done is show up and do trials. It's ridiculous. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope that there's some fruits to see. Otto. Oh, yes, Gina? Why do you agree to this, eh? Why do you take him on? This Reaper bloke. Everyone says it was him. What? What killed the boss? I'm sorry, Gina. But I just don't believe that. Well, that what? And who was it? I don't know that yet. I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out that it was him who killed the boss, then God help him. I'm surprised he's not locked up. Fiery eyes indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. Eh? At least that may be some solace to the deceased. Please, Otto. Get whoever did this for the boss. Oh, Gina. I ain't feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. I lost her accent. Not that I ever had it. So you've got to find who done this and make the wretch pay.
Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way into the courtroom at once, please.
Alright then. Here we go. This feels like a final case, but there's another one after this. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Van Zieks. One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. This is crazy. All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. And whatever truth is revealed, I was on there to say, and whoever this guy is. We're going to have to look it straight in the eye. Yeah. I'm scared. Guys, I'm not ready.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct the fair and just trial of the defendant, Brock Van Zieks. Brock. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin?
The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Anyone who hasn't seen anything, I am so sorry for the voice I'm going to give this man. Oh, Katsumi-sama. I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long. It feels... But I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench. Why does he want to be a prosecutor?
The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind this scourge.
In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder.
The truths revealed by these proceedings may have unpredicted repercussions throughout the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial, with no members of the public present, by Her Majesty's direct orders.
How will that work, my lord?
The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the juror's bench shall remain vacant today.
If no members of the public are present, Might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord?
They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial.
Members of the judiciary? Oh my, this is a very unusual trial already.
There is of course another, unprecedented aspect to these proceedings in which I must elaborate. The counsels for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens of Great Britain. That's true.
I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain this is the reason why I had to come to Britain.
Katsuma? Very well, let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asagi, your opening statement, if you please.
Certainly, my lord. The incident took place on 1st November at just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property.
Yes, I Inspector Tobias Gregson, a name known very well indeed in this court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimmest cases 10 years ago.
The Professor case. How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported the same time. Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly.
How is that range been determined?
There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range.
I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, counsel.
The death was instant. We need to update that autopsy. Death might have not been instant. The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim.
And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm?
No, my lord. Not conclusively. Bravo, Katsuma-sama. For not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance cannot be proven. Furthermore, my lord, as I've explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There's a candelabra mounted on that wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. We noticed that too, didn't we? Yes, that's right.
Thank you for the thorough report, counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please.
As you wish, my lord. I lost it.
Is this Fresno Street room Inspector Gregson's private abode?
No, my lord. The room is rented to Mr. Hugh Boone. But there is precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair. So what on earth was Gregson even doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case or other. When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed to the scene, he found the only deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot. I just like giving him anime dub voice. I don't know. It feels right.
So the details of the case are clear.
In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness.
A name, please, counsel.
Naturally, the accused himself. Lord Van Zeeks. As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of the office he's taken and will be compelled to tell the truth.
Very well. Let the defendant take the witness stand.
This is crazy. This is so fan servicey, but I'm so here for it. Hello. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. I'm sorry, I have to make you sound like an idiot because you're mean to me. Barak Van Zieks, the Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Zieks, that you heard Prosecutor Oski's opening I can't speak. I did. It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this? Yes, my lord. And then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question. And what exactly took place. I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth. I must say, Lord Van Zieks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want it to imagine it would come. But since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has been dreading it. Your formal testimony, then, witness. That was crazy! Oh, gosh. Here we go. The facts of the incident. I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. When I first encountered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. That's crazy. That testimony was the whole truth? It was. So, you heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants, and moments later a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes, is that it? You're right, you haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Oski. It would appear to be a singular tale indeed. Singular isn't the word. It's laughable. What's got into Katsuma? He's not behaving like himself at all. Poor I can't. That poor girl. Very well then. Also, I feel like I'm supposed to have a little more brightness on this. Okay. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. We're definitely gonna have to press something. That looks so cool. Oh, the best friends going against each other. Ah, that was so cool. Okay. Why were you investigating Gregson? You were investigating the inspector? What on earth for? Come on. I'm not at liberty to say. Sorry? I'd identified a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in a case I was... okay. Sorry, that my settings are just, like, in my way. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. Is the court to understand that on the day in question... Okay, hold on. Okay, that's better. I don't know why I was doing that. On the day in question, you were following the victim to the scene? No, I was privy to his movements in advance. How? I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry. You allegedly entered the man's office. In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense. As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Van Zieks? I was aware of the possible consequences. So, in summary, you were investigating the victim, and yet you refused to tell the court why. I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath. Ugh, why did I ever think I could defend this man? I don't know, bro. That's a great question.
Hold it!
Had you ever been to the address before? No, never. I only learnt of the place as a result of my investigations into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything. But at 5 p.m., the sun would only have just gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside. The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way into the room from the outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed it if the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure? I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain. Look, Mr. Naruto! There is a small desk in the room just here. Yes, I remember. And there was an oil lamp on it, as well as the framed photograph. When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate. And what did you find? Nothing. I never actually reached the desk.
Hold it!
So, who fired the gun? I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room. But you say it was very dark in there? Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is I didn't sense another's presence. Aha! Then could it be that the gunshot actually originally from somewhere outside the room? Okay, I just freed up some space, so hopefully it doesn't freeze up like that. Anyway. No, that's out of the question. Also, it got really dark in here. Ah, you can see me! Oh! Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder. Ugh, this is going from bad to worse. And you say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor? Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. That was carelessness on my part. Presumably, then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hands. In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not. What? The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder. But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired? Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I, too, would dearly like to know that. Goodness. Okay.
Hold it!
A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume? That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street. Who are these merchants? A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot. And without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened. Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. They did, and almost gave me a heart attack in the process. But you're supposed to be the Reaper. The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled. A policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction. What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear?
I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly, there it was.
Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand?
At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open, and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more.
I see.
After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson. Most curious circumstances indeed. How the inspector was killed, or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere, I have no idea.
Objection!
Surely the court has heard enough. I don't know if I like his objection. Anyway.
My lord, the cross-examination is clearly revealed that the accused, Beric Van Zieks, is lying on multiple fronts.
What was that supposed to mean?
Good gracious, counsel. The defendant is lying, you say? In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That's correct. No, that's impossible. As proven by this candelabrum.
How does that prove anything?
If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact. One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle. The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length. Yes, I can see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long. We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together, which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others.
That must be because that particular candle was extinguished when the others were still burning.
Oh! That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. But the other two candles would still have been burning. So the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum. And the accused's claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. And now, to the next lie.
He's tearing him apart! Yo, hold on. That's crazy. Okay. Go on. Go on.
The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That's the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings. Yes, that's right. We saw it too. It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they included a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago.
10 years ago? This is starting to sound familiar.
And there's a common thread linking all the documents on that board.
Indeed? What is the common thread, counsel? I'll let you say it. I won't steal your mojo.
They all relate to cases prosecuted in court by Beric Van Zieks.
All of them? Don't look so smug like that. Yo!
And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted. Interestingly, none of those defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper.
Oh no.
In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations.
The Reaper's hideout? And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout? No one would believe that. No. The truth is, we've been looking at this backwards.
Backwards? Explain, Counsel.
Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. Oh no. Ooh. Oh no.
Order! Oh goodness. Very well. I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Ralph Van Zieks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great services to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Oski's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts. All I have done is state the truth as I know it.
Katsuma's done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case, and it's formidable. That was very defense lawyery of him.
Counsel, you will submit to the board that you just showed the court as evidence.
There's definitely going to be something wrong with it. Bro, he's pretty good at this. Okay. Respect. I still hate you, but respect.
I believe it is to be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence.
I would say it is the Reaper's hideout, but he's not the Reaper. Thank you, my lord. Alright. Now I just need to go into the courtroom. And now, the prosecution would like to call new witnesses to the stand. Okay, hold on. I need to... Oh, I have a lot of evidence. Hold on. Goodness. Okay. Let's see what we got. There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back to years on here, aren't there? This paper from 10 years ago is browning with age. Look. Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here. Oh, it's the same Red-Headed League advertisement that Mr. Sholmes had picked out. And do you remember? There was a red hairpiece at the scene too. Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the Red-Headed League then? Making sure I didn't miss anything. This is... oh wait, red handprint. I say, always look for the blood. Oh, what's this? Mr. Naruto, look! Oh yes, it's a smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks like blood. And the color. Yeah. Oh dear, how disturbing. Alright, cool. Cool. Alright, I think that was all I needed to look at. We love looking at the fine details of life. Okay. I think this is just gonna be... yeah, okay, that's fine. I don't think I have anything else to look at the moment. Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question. They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember. Yes, the street sellers who heard the gunshot and went running into the room.
Very well. Lead the witnesses in. The defendant may step down for the witness stand.
Certainly, my lord.
Unfazed. Completely unfazed.
Oh my goodness! Hello! So, witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Okay. I think this is worse than any accent I've ever done. Names? We don't use names. Far too fancy for the likes of us. We're just free and easy. Sell what we like. Live where we want to live. I could give them all the vacant chairs and walk down Fresno and spit a few words and verse for them.
Ah, but I'd be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street.
Everyone calls me gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits from passers-by, you know. Jaunty little tidbits? Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up your gill it is. 6pence is the price, not a penny less. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now? Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested. Try the man. Give him the money and see where it is.
Pay the man, counsel. In the words of a famous lawyer, what kind of kangaroo court is this?
Alright. 6pence it is.
Why am I paying the witness?
You'll regret it, sir. Now I call your listening ears on. Just between us, a young couple in Slick Street have just had twins.
Is that it?
No, that's not it. It's gossip in it. It wants to spread. But that bit's up to you and your mouth, of course. I got more, you know. Want another juicy one? 6pence a piece it is, if you're curious.
I am curious, yes, about what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Namely, that unusual bruise or whatever it is that's poking out from under your collar.
What about the next witness, then? What name do you go by and what do you sell? Me? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, ain't it? I sell these lovely little fireworks to all local school kids. Why are you selling fireworks to children?
Oh! Firecrackers. I was thinking like big fireworks. I'm like, what are you doing? You weren't exaggerating with little. Do they actually sell?
Oh yeah. The second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them that if they get 100, they can blow up the school.
Not the most savory of ideas, young lady.
What do you say then, eh? Want a part of the 6pence for a pop?
Wait, what? You want me to buy one?
Tell you what, I'll let you in on one little secret. If you get 100 of them, you could blow up the whole courtroom. Try the woman. Why? Give her the money and see if she's right.
Pay the woman, counsel.
I'm quitting. I'm sorry, Van Zeeks, I'm quitting right now.
Alright, I'll buy one.
Lovely stuff, Rat then. This is something a little bit extra just for you. The Venus special. Only 600 pence. 600? It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about it, that is there?
There'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey either. These fireworks is...
And the last witness. What name do you go by and what do you sell?
Let me examine this in the court record quick.
Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruto? You're staring at the end of the string of fireworks.
Sorry, it's just that this is the Venus... It's the Venus special. I wonder what 600 pence worth of fireworks might sound like.
Shall we find out?
What? But she said it could blow up the courtroom. Alright, that was fairly sizable bang.
My ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruto.
It sounds almost exactly like... Oh... Oh. Alright. I see what you're throwing down. They always sneak up on me with stuff like this.
Finger me. Think sorts of thoughts. They think there I am, therefore I think. Because I stand there in the street watching the world go by me, they call me the observer, sir. Get all of it, old man. Everyone calls you sandwich and you know it. So, you don't actually sell anything? A problem shared is a problem to have, as they say. I give advice, I do. I think what it means. I don't actually sell anything, no, come to think of it. Pity. No more purchases today, please.
Well, we have quite a case here, it seems.
They conduct their business in Fresno Street from morning till night, my lord. And always at the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene.
I see. And thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose.
Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witnessed the crime. Well, I'll be back though, just between us. Venus de Milo, what am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw. What I think is if what was I don't want to read that. Too much work.
Very well. The court will hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. Describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident.
We saw the thing from start to finish, we did. Everything from the moment they went into the building. It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we heard a big bang. Seems to me that the quick to walk gossip couldn't wait to go and see what had happened. I ran into the room and there I was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body. I was scared half to death, me, so I ran off to find the copper. I gotta press something. If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, who did they see going inside the building? Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Bert Van Zieks. I've seen pictures of that Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, folks love stories like this. I made myself a tiny sum already. But wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it. All those flats in Fresno Street are unoccupied. Of course they are. They're small, damn dirty, and expensive to boot. The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased. And we know the leaseholder's name, don't we? It's Hugh Boone.
The testimony the court has just heard would appear to leave little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed this crime. No.
No. Thank you for your candor, my lord.
Counsel for the defense, you may proceed with the cross-examination of the witnesses. Yes, my lord.
In a closed court like this without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. I have to break down this testimony somehow.
Hold it!
When you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord Van Zieks? I suppose so. Likes of us don't know the names of the high and mighty. But I'll tell you one thing, it was the old Reaper that went in last, that's for sure and certain. Just behind Inspector Gregson? Did they arrive at the same time as each other? No, not at all. The first fellow must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we had that gunshot. The victim arrived 15 minutes before? Are you sure about that? Am I sure? Does it seem likely that I've forgotten a fellow with a bright red hair like that, does it? Oh yeah. Yeah, his hair really were red, weren't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks even. That fiery red mop still burned inside my eyelids it is. Wait a minute. You're saying the man was a redhead? What, you listening, chump? He was a redhead. And he has a big truck with him as well. But Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It seems like the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party. It was Gregson in a wig. No, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct. What? Just have a look at this photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Why don't you show me that earlier. Okay. It's okay. Stop hiding evidence. Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, all right. And a red hairpiece. Of course. We saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we? I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece, though. So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like that?
The color does seem to suit the man, one might say.
No, it doesn't.
The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel.
What became of the trunk that red-headed victim was supposedly carrying? I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene. So it just disappeared? What, you expect those that have been watching the building every second, do you? We definitely saw him on the dock going in, though. No question about that.
Hold it!
By which, presumably, you mean the gunshot. I sell these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? But I've always thought that it probably sounds a bit like this, doesn't it? And you say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant here enter the building? That's right. It was almost straight away. Bang, it went, just like that. Well, he's a reaper, ain't he? It's what the French call a hammer. And when the reaper's around, people are going to the ground. I mean, that's what he does, isn't it? I think we're getting the message. The Reaper couldn't allow the inspector to live after he discovered his secret hideout. There can be no clear motive for the crime.
Yes. It's certainly an eminently incredible motive.
Great. And at that point, you ran inside, is that correct? What? So, when Gossip ran to see what had happened, did you go too? Well, me, I'm a bit happy. All the signs of that I can't move very well. You were way behind, presumably, with that sandwich board around your neck and that big sign in your hand. What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but is it possible you and I have met before? I'm not anybody, me. The signs are what make me who I am now. I saw him, therefore I am. So, you weren't employed as an omnibus driver just under a year ago, then? I might be mistaken, but I believe his trembling has intensified, Mr. Nanowrimo. Yes, I agree. He's clearly been through a lot. Turn down, King Edward. Oh dear, you've made him hide behind his sign. Life is full of surprises.
Hold it!
So then, you were the first person to arrive on the scene, is that right? That I was! Kicked the door open like a professional I did! He yelled out, "What's going on here?" Lord Van Zeeks claims all he heard was a man scream, though. And was it dark inside the room? No, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall. Really? And there was a fellow collapsed on the floor. Just between us, it's the first thing I noticed when I got inside. Huh, I see. Even though Lord Van Zeeks claims not to have seen any such lights on the wall. Next thing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body. The accused, Berg Van Zeeks. That's right, a pale-faced reaper himself. I was a little shocked I won tonight, but I'm a lily-cut-livered coward. I stood my ground and gave that reaper a cold hard stare myself.
Excuse me.
Excuse me? Do you have something to add, Mr. Sandwich? There's really nothing to me. Empty in the head I am. Just 2 slices with no middle. So I don't know who you could want with me. I think that maybe you just remembered something, having heard Mr. Gossip's last statement. What I think is, we're all nothings really. We try to dress ourselves up as someone else, but But at the end of the day, we're all just street sellers. That's enough of you, sandwich. Keep your trap shut now. Unless you want us to make you into a real sandwich. When we saw the Reaper, he fell clean over his backside. That's it? Oh, you rotten beggar. I told you to keep that a secret. He screamed, he did. Screamed and scrambled off on all fours. That's all. What did you say? Mr. Gossip, is this true? The floor is dead slippery, that's why. Planted my head on a filthy pool of blood, didn't I? Yuck. What? A pool of blood? But listen here. Even when I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving the Reaper a cold hard stare. And don't you forget it. Let's just go back a little. Did you say you got blood on your hand? I did, eh? Happens to the best of us sometimes, doesn't it? So I was scared, so I slipped over. We can just keep it between us, can't we? No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony. Oh, if I must. Alright. Yeah. Your haircut looks stupid. Okay, I'm gonna save and then I'm gonna present the conspiracy board with the blood stain on the back.
Objection!
Objection! So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that? Well, what else do you expect me to have done, eh? Doesn't really matter.
Objection!
The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. What exactly is the defense asserting? If you listen, you'll find out. Prosecutor Asagi. Certainly, there was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint in blood left clearly on the scene, on the back of this notice board.
Yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood.
Hey, you're dead right. That's my right hand. I know it anywhere.
Objection!
Objection!
The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection!
Not if the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness's handprint to have ended up here. Just look at the floor plan of the room. The notice board was at the opposite corner of the room to the victim, in an upright position. Even if it somehow had toppled and was lying on the floor at the time, it would have been a considerable distance from the body. I fell over when I came across the body. So I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room. In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. There's a very definite contradiction here, for which there must be a reason.
I take it that you formulated a proper hypothesis, counsel.
Nope.
Regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene.
I have, my lord. You bluff.
Alright. We're just gonna say false testimony.
No, it's gonna be false testimony. That guy's a liar. Look at him. The witness claims to have wiped his bloody hand on the floor, yet no sign of that remains at the scene. The simplest explanation is that the witness is lying.
Objection!
Just because it's the simplest explanation doesn't make it the correct one. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Huh. Positing perjury simply because it suits you. You bring shame on your Japanese heritage. What? Okay, fine. You say that all the time, but when I say it, I get in trouble. Twisted Karma in his last bow. See? Van Karma. Another handprint. The board probably moved. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down. Good gracious, so it is. If the witness had put his hand up against the board, the finger should be pointing upwards. What does that tell us? It tells one simple fact. When this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor, as I previously suggested. Which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. So false testimony.
Objection!
You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting? Then tell the court who. I don't know that yet, but the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point. And that would be the position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord. So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion to the court. I need to save again. Where do you maintain the notice board was situated? I'm gonna say it was under the victim. That's my theory anyway. Because if you got blood on it, or not under it, but like it was by the victim.
Take that!
Okay, fine. I just wasn't it by the victim? I don't. How else would he have gotten blood on his hand? Maybe it was.
Take that!
This is the only possible location.
Immediately adjacent to the doorway.
Okay, I was close. I put it too close to the victim. If the court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier, he said that when he entered the room it was dark and he couldn't see the body. But if the notice board had been there, the body would have been completely hidden from view. And the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear dark.
Objection!
But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him. That's true. Or, in his precise words, just as I picked the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of the Inspector Gregson appeared before me. I don't know about calling it a scream, but it was talking about me and no mistake. Because it was me that kicked the door open. If you look again at the floor plan, consider what would have happened if the door to the room was thrown open with force. That can't. The door struck the notice board, knocking it over and making the victim's body visible. Good gracious. My client has told nothing but the truth. He has simply described what he saw. Oh!
What? Counsel, how has this not come to light before now?
Yeah. Katsuma. After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it. into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw it when investigating the room.
Okay. Witness, what have you to say for yourself?
What? Me, my lords? You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board.
The witness in the stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime.
Stop looking over your glasses at me. I got the message.
Why is defeating my best friend more satisfying than fighting the literal racist? I don't understand. But, like, I was happier watching him suffer than I was any time I beat what's his face? Van Zieks.
I know nothing about that nose boy. I swept my hand on it, that's all. Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander. Just assigned at the crossroads of life. It was our Reaper, I bet. He's got a face that screams bored. I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when you heard the gunshot.
I kind of want to press the last statement.
So none of you can elaborate further.
Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see. We can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened.
But Van Zieks can?
That's right, yeah. I don't pay to expect too much. It's man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world, that's what I think.
Do you? Really?
In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could have committed this crime is Beric Van Zieks.
Sure.
None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact.
Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses despite the circumstances?
Of course we do. Like, come on.
You have a seat, counsel.
Why wouldn't we? We always do. It's part of the process. And then they'll say something stupid. You were doing business with the second years at the time?
Hold it!
When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks. Yeah? What else? There's a private school just around the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow the school to kingdom come. Huh. So I've been telling on them, letting the teachers know what they're up to.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, won't want anyone to get hurt, so we'll let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids will come back to me to buy more. Everyone's happy, see?
Sound business model. What a racket.
Of course. And sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life selling explosives.
Venus is a goddess indeed.
Well, telling barefaced lies, that ain't my kind of thing, really. I'm ever so good at it.
Excuse me.
Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich. Sandwich. If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it?
No.
Did Miss Venus's statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts. Let's say there was a great liar, and that great liar said without batting an eye,
telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of hers be a lie too, or the truth, in which case she's not a liar? Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one, don't you think?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you?
What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that, and I'll wrap your whole body in fireworks and set them off. That'll give you something to tremble about.
You've ever startling disturbing mind behind this sweet and innocent face, young lady.
So, Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich?
Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Can you elaborate, please, sir?
Old Blabbermouth here headed for the room where the gunshot seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him, too. That's right. That rotten lie over there.
Do you mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all?
What did I tell you, eh? I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I?
Yes, you mentioned it.
Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it?
Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch?
So you did indeed visit the crime scene, did you, young lady? Good grief.
Well, now you come to mention it. I suppose perhaps. I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yeah.
Either you clearly remember it or you don't.
Well, I shall consider it a fitting punishment for you for this perjury act later. For the time being, you immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth.
Oh yes, my lord, of course. Maybe I did sneak along behind gossip and have a little peek into the room where it all happened.
Hold it!
You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus?
Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I'll take everything I say with a big pinch of salt.
Alright. But you did in fact go into the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you?
Oh, please. As if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying.
The truth, please.
Well, right. Just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age just cares about stuff, you know?
Did you touch anything at this scene?
Oh, please. As if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor.
The truth, please.
Well, alright. Just a bit then. I had a look to see if there was anything I could sell. So I did give this place a once-over, but it was nothing to write home about.
Right.
I just realized I'm wearing Katsuma's arm piece.
Right. Now I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you?
Oh, please! As if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I had.
The truth, please.
Well, alright then. I thought there might be something to have in underneath it. So I blasted the flippin' thing. Sorry, flip the blasted thing.
You're telling us that you did move the board?
I think I did slip it out, didn't I?
What? You daft bomb pot!
I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think.
So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps, to sell?
Oh, please. I should be so lucky.
The truth, now!
I might have found this old pocket watch under the notice board, I suppose. But a bit of junk like that can be... Ah!
So it was you, was it? You're the one what took it.
Gina? Oh, that was missing, that's right. Young lady, may I remind you where you are?
That watch there. That was a present Inspector Gregson for the yard for a big case he solved 10 years ago. The professor case, no doubt. The boss used to wind up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub.
I see.
I swiped it off him, Watson, and blimey, was he upset? They gave me a right earful. Said he hadn't missed a day in 10 years, polishing it and wanting it. It meant the world to him, that watch did.
Possibly not the best thing to go diving for, then.
It's not that all that, though. I took it to Jemison that night and asked how much it was worth. The old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it. Said it wasn't working. Knocked about and worthless, he called it. Ugh. I knew I should have lifted it. That watch must be submitted as evidence at once. Oh, please. Just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done. Not a chance. I'll swipe it from you if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again.
That's enough. Hand the watch to the bailiff forthwith. Now, children, watch your manners. What? The glass appears to be broken.
Oh. More than likely, it shattered when the inspector was shot. It doesn't take any more either. Which is why Jebus didn't want it. What a waste, eh?
Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5. Exactly when the gunshot was heard then.
Which supports the prosecution's claim, of course.
Well, it would appear that the mystery... Okay, so there's more. One sec. The glass over the face really is badly cracked. Look.
What a shame when the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully.
I imagine Mr. Sholmes could repair it, don't you?
Yes, I should think so.
He's very adept at things like this. A useful man to have around, in fact.
But kindly remember that he's a great detective, Mr. Naruto. Not an odd job man.
That's what I thought. There's a tiny little stub sticking out from this small hole here. Look.
I suppose there must have been a little knob or something on that for setting the time.
In that case, seeing as we know the inspector took such good care of his watch, probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it?
Yes, of course.
Which could mean that there's a small part of the watch still in the scene, maybe. That's the other side of it. Ah, there's a tiny keyhole here. Can't you see?
Oh yes, that's probably for the winder used to wind up the mechanism.
It looks a little unusual, don't you think?
Yes. You'd need just the right key to unwind it, I imagine.
Since when does she sound like Luna Lovegood? Alright. Why do I feel as though I've seen something? Something a bit like a key that's about the right size to fit this hole.
It would be wonderful if we had the key. Let's check carefully over what we've already found.
Key. I don't remember my evidence very well. Wait, there's something else. Why was it saying there's something I hadn't... Okay, currently not. Whatever. What we got? We haven't examined the candle yet, so we'll probably do that. Is there anything, like, good to examine here? Whatever. Okay, let's examine the candle. There's some black marks here, look.
Yes, they look like some sort of scorch marks.
It's perhaps the bullet struck the candle here, do you think? It's only this one candle that's been cracked in half, it seems.
Yes, I think you might be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan, so I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them.
Is that it? Just making sure. Every time I don't examine it, it comes to bite me in the butt, so. Key.
So this is the type of revolver that's standard issue for members of the judiciary, then? Yes, and when I asked about whether records are kept about who they're issued to, I was told that for the past 5 years they've been engraved with unique serial number.
Oh, but as far as I can tell, there's nothing like that on this gun.
Which tells us that it must have been issued longer than that.
Anything else about the gun? That's just the whole gun? Okay. Fine. Anything else that we have that's... Oh! Oh! Wait a second.
The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear.
I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if somebody has enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting it around and around too, for fun? It's gonna be the key. Yep.
Ah! What's that? It appears to be some sort of key. But it's tiny, though. It could be a key for a door, not that size.
So what is it for? Okay. So now we have to go back to the old thing. Good, this is a lot of work. Okay. Then we have to go back to the key, and we want to go there, and we want to re-examine it. Right? Or is it not going to work yet? Okay, so I can't do that yet. Do I have to... I'm so confused. I totally forgot to examine this thing. Already did that. Is that it? Is that all we can do? Or maybe I'm supposed to... Hold on. 1 second. So I do this. I have to examine the key part, just in case. I don't want to miss anything. Okay. Yeah, okay. Mr. Sato, do you think perhaps this key could be the key for Inspector Gregson's watch?
Oh, yes, it could be. Let's try it at once. There's not a moment to lose.
I knew it. A perfect fit.
And look, the inspector's watch has started going again.
Huh. So it has obviously just not been wound up, that's all. What is it, Mrs. Sato?
Well, if the watch isn't actually broken, I have a feeling it could have profound implications.
She's deep in thought now. Perhaps I'd be better start thinking deeply about it too. Yeah, because it stopped at 5, but that doesn't actually mean anything. And as predicted, it had very little bearing on this case. Ugh. Now then, continue the cross-examination, Counsel. Alright. Okay, wait. Okay, maybe I have to press people. Okay, so let me save this and then present the watch. Because, yeah, let me just see. It might not work yet. I might have to like do a little bit more digging. Goodness.
Objection.
Okay, it worked. I was like, that better work. I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case. Oh! At the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch. A key. And having wound the pocket watch, we discovered that it, in fact, still works. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built. What?
Order! But counsel, the watch has stopped at exactly 5 o'clock.
Yeah? Which is just when we heard that gunshot.
It is exactly the hour. The time that was showing on the watch tells us nothing other than when it wound down. It's merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection.
that's true. The 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. So that's obviously when this crime was committed.
Objection.
No, that doesn't hold. Why not? Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago. Boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub. Said he hadn't missed a day in 10 years bullshitting winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did.
I'm still so sad he's dead. The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day in the evening. We can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well.
Yes, that would be entirely reasonable.
But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day.
Well, I explain it then.
In summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch.
You can't mean.
What would stop a man winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years? The obvious answer is that he was already dead.
Order! Counsel, this is the most extraordinary claim.
Objection.
Extraordinary isn't the word, it's absurd. You claim he was already dead the night before. Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that?
On that subject, there's something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report. The time of death is not noted.
That's right. Wait a minute. You're forgetting that my legs went from under me when I kicked the door.
What do you mean?
Like I said, I planted my head in a dirty grey puddle of blood. Yes, so the victim's blood hadn't dried. It was fresh. It catches on fast, don't he?
Objection.
But that blood could be explained in any number of ways. It could have been put there afterwards. Some fresh blood could have been poured over the...
Does my learned friend...
Not you calling me a learned friend, too. I know it's normal court in Japan, but come on, bruh. You weren't my learned friend. You were my friend.
Does my learned friend think that fresh blood is available in every street corner?
Well, it needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course. We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human.
The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities.
So then, a chicken's blood could have been used, for example. It's certainly a possibility that wasn't the inspector's blood at all.
Objection.
But the gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's beyond question.
It is, though. Is it, though?
What?
Given that the time of death of the victim has already been called into question, it isn't beyond the realms of possibility that what these witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all. Oh, please. What are you trying to say?
Us lot know what we heard. It was a loud bang that came from that room.
No, you listen to me. A street seller's ears is livelihood. I don't doubt your ears, sir, but all you can state with certainty is that you heard a noise.
Eh?
Explain yourself then, counsel.
A noise that sounds like a gunshot could have been made with the fireworks. I'm feeling brave. I won't even say
Take that.
something like this. The culprit could have set off one of these to fake a gunshot.
Good gracious. The very fireworks that are sold by the witness.
Now hold on a minute. Are you saying I did it? My pretty little fireworks only make a little pop anyway. See? Not 100 of them together. The Venus special that you sell for 600 pennies sounds like this. As the court can now attest, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact.
You're trying to suggest that somebody set one of those fireworks off at the scene? I'm suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for these peddlers in Fresno Street to hear.
Objection!
But even the accused himself has testified that he saw no one else in the room at the time. Whether it was a gun or a firecracker, the only person present to cause that bang was Brock Van Zieks. One whiff of a match and my firecracker goes pop. See? That's why people like him.
I fear for your fingers, young lady.
Objection!
Recently, during my time here in Britain, I've learned of a very useful invention indeed. Something called a time bomb.
Good. A bomb?
Yes, a device that allows you to blow up whatever you like, whenever you like. Mr. Naruto, I worry that your unfortunate phrasing there may lead to yet another international incident. Ah, no, wait, it's the whenever you like part that's important. A time device. Yes, exactly, a time device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left.
Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, counsel. What proof do you have suggests anyway that a time device was employed to create the gunshot sound?
Let me save quick. Because that I'm not sure about. So I might have to do a little bit of digging. Goodness. Remind me never to be a lawyer. No law school for me. Okay. Okay. The pocket watch? No, what evidence do I have? I guess the watch somehow, maybe? Hold on, I gotta examine some stuff. Oh wait, no, okay. Like do they hide something behind the photo? We should probably make sure. The article. Was there anything important in that article? I just want to double check, you know? For me, for a redhead. What's up with the redheaded lead? What is this?
Take that!
You're suggesting this could have been used as some sort of time delay device.
I think so, my lord. But it's becoming increasingly clear that we've all been very misguided here.
Objection!
Yes, by you. What? Okay. Okay.
No, counsel, the time has come for a penalty. Okay.
I just had to try that. Okay, so that's not it. I thought maybe. What else? I must have some other evidence. I just have to look. They really didn't even, like, combat me. They just said, no, you're stupid. Okay. I should examine the wig just in case. I've always wondered what the underside of a hairpiece looks like. That doesn't surprise me at all. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Stop checking. Okay. Anything else? No, no. No. So not the watch. Is there anything on the firecracker that looks different? No, nothing. Okay. What about this thing? I don't think so, but you know, I gotta try everything because I don't know. There must be something in the photo. Where's the dead body photo? Is there something in the photo?
I don't see his watch, but they also covered it if it is there. The floor plan, maybe? I'm gonna put it right there. Very confusing. I don't know. Okay, proof? I don't need proof. I have ideas, and ideas are all I need.
Take that!
I love that they stopped the music to try to trick you. That's really funny. That's really funny. Okay, load. Like, they're starting to catch on to our cheating methods, guys. Okay, let's see. It's not the photo, not the watch. Alright, let's try this guy.
Take that!
Okay, not that. Do I have any evidence? I need the evidence. Give me the evidence. I don't know what the evidence is. The floor plan, maybe?
Take that!
Nope. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little stumped here. What you think of doing here? Okay, so floor plan, autopsy report, examine. Okay, not that. Maybe the gun?
Take that!
Nope. Nope. I don't know. Okay. I have no idea. I have no idea. I keep presenting the evidence and something is going to stick. Something. Did I already do the candelabrum? I think so. I think so. No, okay, I did that. I did that. I already did the watch. I already did that. I already did that. Examine. Nope. Nope. Anything at all. I just don't know. Okay, I have spent a long time clicking random things, but it was the candle apparently. So here you go.
Take that!
I don't know, bro. All right. As the court has already discussed. Oh, got it. The tip of one of the candles in this candelabrum has been blown off. Indeed, because it was struck by the bullet, which presumably passed through the victim. I don't think that's possible, my lord. Not possible. Why? Because of the scorching. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle. There are. Goodness, yes. There's also scorching of the victim around the bullet wound entry. That's right, there was. But as we heard earlier, scorching like that only occurs when the target is at very close range, a matter of centimeters from the gun. Oh. Which means that the scorching on the candle can't possibly be the result of a gunshot. You're suggesting it came from the fireworks. How could that be, eh? How could that be, eh? I forgot the voice. I was clicking for so long. The fact that there's such a visible scorching on the candle suggests that the fireworks must have been right next to it when they exploded. Or to put it another way, the candle and fireworks were joined together. The culprit somehow attached the fireworks at a point partway down the candle. After the killer had left the scene, that's so smart. The candle slowly burned down along with the other two.
until eventually it ignited the fuse of the firecrackers, generating a loud bang. And that is how these 3 witnesses came to believe they'd heard a gunshot at 5 o'clock.
Well, what a plot. And this implies that the victim could have died earlier than we'd been led to believe, the previous day even.
No. Now just hold your horses. All is that there's a victim going in the building, remember? I couldn't forget that flame-colored hair even if we wanted to. The person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all. Consider this. Obviously, anybody can wear a wig. So the person that these witnesses saw entering the building 15 minutes before the incident occurred could easily have been someone else entirely wearing the red hairpiece.
Someone else? Do you mean to say?
It was the same person who contrived the firecracker trick. In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer.
Don't He evilly laughs and then we get the dramatic music.
Oh, very impressive, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kazuma. I'm really quite amazed you've come this far. But after all, wasn't I the one who told you that you had all the makings of a great defense lawyer? I also noted the lack of time of death in this report. A stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired. Why were you laughing?
Order! Prosecutor Oski. What on earth do you mean by that statement?
I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to observe this trial today. So we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. The defense's assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopwatch is just conjecture. But, while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it.
Well, certainly, I would agree with you.
And what immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing, and where did he go on the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried out his investigative work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard.
Even within the yard.
However, considering the evidence we've been presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing. Wouldn't you, my learned friend? I do have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating.
Yes, I agree. Surely.
My lord, the defense believes it can explain to the court the case that was being investigated by Inspector Gregson at the time of his death.
Very well. Counsel, present your argument to the court. What evidence is suggested of the case being investigated by the inspector the day prior to the incident?
I feel like it might be the photograph, but I don't know for sure. I know what case it is. I just gotta figure out.
Take that!
It is utterly wrong, and that you have been clarified most expertly. Okay.
I wasn't sure. Okay, give me a second. It's getting late, guys. It's getting late. We've been at this a while.
I don't know why these things always take so long.
Okay. Let's see. The Redhead Club? Why'd the music stop? That was weird. You could just present the notice board. Let's just present the notice board.
Take that!
Nope. Fine. So picky. What do you want from me? What do you want? What do you want? Okay,
Take that!
Nope. Y'all are getting on my nerves. I don't know what evidence you want. It's not a hard question to answer. Can I just say it? Also, this music is fire. It's very good, very nice.
Take that!
Really? Alright, we're gonna keep trying things. It's not the photo. It could literally be anything. These all have to do with that case. Okay. Is it the Red-Headed League?
Take that!
Oh. Okay, it was. I believe this red hairpiece points to the answer. We might assume it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation. Oh, right. Yeah, I'm a little slow, guys.
Surely not. Such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable.
Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in a crowd. Except, that is, in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League.
The Red-Headed League?
I kind of forgot that was a thing because it's so stupid. So, you'd already worked it out.
No, I did not. What on earth is this all about? Is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen?
The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception.
A deception of what nature, Counsel?
They've been targeting red-headed men across all of London. And tricking them out of small sums of money.
Only an ace attorney. Alright.
2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact. My lord, the defense calls for those 2 men to be summoned at once.
2 redheads!
Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece. So it's very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. And it's quite possible that such contact led to more serious events.
I concur that we cannot in good conscience leave this new avenue unexplored.
Well done, Mr. Naruto. Well, it's another possible line of inquiry for us at least.
The prosecution will make immediate arrangements for the charged men to appear. Bring these 2 Red-Headed League conspirators before me, Prosecutor Oski.
At once, my lord.
Well, very good. We will have a 30-minute recess. Court is adjourned.
What the heck is a Red-Headed League? I'm so confused.
Bring out the redheads!